Okay, so yesterday we were discussed about the account receivable payments and there's some of the reports. Okay, so today what we will do, today we will see the tax calculation, how the sales tax will be set up inside the Dynamics, and based on that, how we can calculate the sales tax during our purchase and during sales, we will see that. Okay, so first to configure sales tax we have to configure a couple of things. There are some of the major steps which need to be taken. Okay, so even if you see, if we want to configure the Indian GST, for that we need to install our couple of the localization pack. So every country have different localization pack. So based on that we need to upgrade it. Okay, so currently I'm not showing how we can configure the Indian localization, but I can share you those documents how we can do the configuration for Indian GST. Okay, so currently I am showing the global sales tax, how it will be calculated. So similar way, the Indian localization, that is GST, will be calculated. Okay, so for example, you just follow this local, I mean the global sales tax. So how it is calculating, if you know the mechanism, then you can easily configure the Indian GST also. Okay, so for that, first we need to navigate. We have a different module called tax. Okay, so in this particular tax, the first step is we need to configure the general ledger posting profile. Okay, so you can see under setup we have sales tax, ledger posting group. Okay, so this is the ledger posting group where we will map the standard the I mean the our GST payable or GST sales tax, whatever it is there. So that ledger account and the settlement ledger account will be mapped over here. Like for example, you can see this is each USA state wise it has been created, and this is the generic one, so which we'll use over here. Okay, so you can see we have a sales tax payable and use for sales tax and settlement account. So these are the three different posting profile which will be mapped for our sales tax. Okay, so for these three posting profile, main account will be provided by the respective finance manager of that particular legal entity or company. Okay, so you should not worry which account need to be mapped. This account information will be shared by the respective finance manager. Okay, so this is our first step. Okay, the second step is we need to define the settlement period. So what do you mean by settlement period? Okay, so at here we need to pay certain date, like for example, uh, if you have any postpaid bill, let's take the credit card. Okay, for credit card, you will have 30 days as your operating period and 15 days is for your settlement period. Okay, so the 30 days is nothing but whatever you use by using the credit card and whatever the bill has been generated. So the bank is giving you 15 days grace period to settle this payment. Okay, now at here the similar way, at here we need to settle the payment to the central tax authority, that is the federal tax authority you can say, or GST council you can say. So you need to make the payment either on monthly basis or quarterly basis or yearly basis, depends on how you want to make it. Okay, so for that configuration, what we have to do, we have to navigate same under tax module. Okay, under direct taxes, sales tax. Okay, you can see sales tax settlement period. Okay, so you will click over here sales tax settlement period. Okay, and you can see already it's for each USA state wise it has been created for individual month basis or quarterly basis it has been defined. Okay, so you can see under generic we have defined on monthly basis. Okay, this is also quarterly basis. So how we can add this per quarterly basis? So you can specify the month interval over here. Like for example, if you want to define on each individual month, then you can specify over here one. If you want to specify each individual quarterly basis, then you will mention over three. If you want to mention on 6 year basis, I mean 6 month basis, quarterly, hourly basis, you will mention six. So after that what will happen? So based on this particular interval period at here the calendar will be generated. Like for example it is up to December 2025. So if I click on add, so what will happen? By default if I give the start date, like for example uh, 10/01/2025. So okay, it's already available that one. So let me give 01/01/2026. Okay, so by at here I will give the date as 03/31/2026. So you can give the start date, from date and to date over here for the defining the settlement period. Okay, so this is the second step what we have to define, that is the sales tax settlement period. So once you have defined these two, one is your sales tax ledger posting profile group, okay, and second one is your sales tax settlement period. So if you define these two, okay, our next configuration step is sales tax code. Okay, so for that what we have to do, again we need to go to the tax module. Under tax module we have indirect taxes, and you can see we have sales tax code. Okay, so in this particular sales tax code, okay, so at here I am clicking on new to create new sales tax code, and you will give the sales tax code and code name. Like for example I am giving STR, and I am giving the name as standard. Okay, so after giving the name, so under general tab you can see we have two mandatory field. One is the settlement period, another one is posting group. Okay, so under settlement period I will select the uh, generic. Okay, and same in posting group I will select the same generic. Okay, so after selecting these two, okay, after updating these two, you can see under calculation I'm not defining anything. Under reporting setup I'm not defining anything. Why? Because there are no mandatory field. Okay, so after updating this settlement period and ledger posting group, okay, click on the save record. Okay, after saving this particular record, under sales tax code, under sales tax code you can see we have value. Click on this particular values. Okay, so at here for this particular standard, so at here under value we need to define the rate. So rate in the sense, so on what percentage base my sales tax should be calculated. Like for example my rate should be calculated with 5%, so I will define over here 5. Okay, after defining this particular 5%, I will click on save the record, and this record will be saved, and I will go back. So in this way we will create the sales tax code. Okay, any doubt in this particular sales tax code? Okay, so moving to the next. So we have seen total three configuration steps so far. One is the ledger posting profile I mean ledger posting group under the setup of sales tax group. This is one. Second one is we have seen the sales tax settlement period. Third one is sales tax code. Okay. Now before going to the next, now let's go to the next one. We have item sales tax group. Okay, and sales tax group. We have these are the two options which is available. Okay, so this sales tax group, whatever it is there, it will be mapped to the respective master level. Like for example, if you have vendor master, if you have customer master, at their level you will see these respective masters. Okay, now at here what I am doing, at here let me give has a standard. I just added the new. Okay, let me mention local group. Okay, so I just added new and I have mentioned local group. Okay, so after defining this, I will save this particular record, and let me keep this record as like that. I need to add some more thing in this one. Okay, so before adding this, I need to have some more information in item model, item sales tax group. Okay, so first we will go to the item sales tax group. So this item sales tax group information will be added to the uh, respective transaction level. Like for example, if you have the product, you will have the item sales tax group. Similarly, for the categories, you will have item sales tax group. Okay, now at here I will add a new. Okay, I will mention str, that is standard. Okay, and at here under report type I'm not selecting anything, I'm leaving as blank. And at here in the setup I will add a line over here. I will select the sales tax code. Like for example, my sales tax code is STR. Okay, and you can see the 5% has been added over here automatically. Now at here I have created the item sales tax group as STR, right? Now I will save this particular record. Now what I will do, I will go to the item sales tax group. Okay, so there is a interlink between sales tax group and item sales tax group. So what we are doing, so we have defined the sales tax item sales tax group as standard STR 5%. Okay, now if you go to the sales tax group, we have created a record with name as local. Okay, so in this particular local sales tax group, we have created a record as local group as a description. So at here under setup, we have to add our sales tax code. Okay, so I will add a line over here. So I will select the sales tax code as STR. Okay, now you can see it here the 5% has been added. Now after saving this particular record, so what will happen now if you do any transactions, like for example, we just created now we just configure one of the sales tax code, that is standard 5%. Okay, now if I go before going to the items, let me go to the item. Okay, so I'm going to the product information management. Okay, I'm going to the release product. So at here let me filter with the uh, okay, there is no iPhone. Okay, let me create one new item. Okay, so I just allow me 2 minutes. Let me create new item fastly. So I'm just adding a new line in from the list product, and I'm giving the product number as IT001, and I'm giving name as, let's imagine, iPhone. Okay, so at here let me select the item model group FIFO. Item group has okay, audio product. Storage dimension I'm giving site and warehouse. Tracking dimension I'm giving none. Okay, and bio group is nothing. So at here you can see in our previous discussion we didn't touch this particular part, item sales tax group. Okay, so you can add for this item sales tax group even after later also after creating the product. Okay, so this item sales tax group for this particular product I'm mapping as standard STR. Okay, for both purchase and sale. Okay, now I will click on OK. So this is the item has been created and it has been released. Okay, now let me go to the accounts payable, all vendor. Okay, so at here also I am adding a new vendor. Okay, so let me add new vendor, or let me give the vendor name as DM001. So I have given him as Apple LLC. Let me select the vendor group as other. Okay, so address information, these are other information I'm updating later. I'm not updating those information. Okay, so at here if you come over here, purchase default. Okay, uh, not in purchase default, under invoice and delivery you can see we have a field called sales tax group. Okay, so at here we will map the sales tax group as local. Okay, and I have saved the record. Now I have a vendor, I have a item. Okay, in vendor master level we have mapped the sales tax group. In item master level we have mapped the item sales tax group. Okay, so in these two combination it will check, based on that the rate will be calculated. Okay, for example, now I am creating the purchase order. Okay, for that what I will do, I will go to the purchase order. Okay, at here I will create new, and let me select Apple, the vendor which I have created right now. Okay, after that I'll go to the general tab and let me give site and warehouse. Okay, after updating my site and warehouse I will click on OK. Now in the line item line level I will select the my item, I mean that is the product, that is iPhone. Okay, so after selecting this particular item, okay, now you can see let me scroll down item details. If I go to the setup tab, now you can see I have local and sorry, I have my item sales tax group and sales tax group. Okay, for example, for one unit I am giving, let's imagine some random figure. Okay, let's imagine I have given 8 lakhs 54,970. Okay, and so based on this, this is my unit price. So based on this, so what will happen, your sales tax will be calculated 5% with local or STR in these two combination, and you can see your sales tax by clicking on this particular purchase sales tax. Okay, now you can see STR is a sales tax code. On this particular line amount, it is calculating 5 percentage, and this is the sales tax amount. Okay, and if you want to calculate manually, you can calculate by opening the calculator. That is my 8,54,970 into 5% divided by 100. So 42,784.5 is my sales tax amount. Okay, now you can see the sales tax is calculated. So how this particular sales tax is calculated, the combination between your item sales tax group, okay, and sales tax group. Okay, let's imagine, so if you see in my sales tax group, if I open this particular sales tax group, I have a code has STR5. Okay, and if I open my STR group, so if you see I have STR has 5. Okay, so these two is matching, so because of that 5% rate has been calculated. Okay, so this is how the sales tax will be calculated. So now if I want to add additional sales tax code, so I need to create the additional sales tax code first. I need to update the values, then I need to create the item sales tax group, and I need to map to the respective sales tax group. Then only it will be calculated. Okay, so any doubt in this one, calculation of standard rate? So let me repeat. So what we have done, the first thing is the configuration part. Okay, if you see configuration part, the first part is our ledger posting profile. Okay, under the tags, under setup, we have ledger posting group. So this is my first part of configuration. Second part is creation of the sales tax settlement period. So that this is my sales tax settlement period. And third one is the sales tax code, and we will define inside the sales tax code, we will define our value. The next step is sales tax group. In sales tax group, we will just create and we will leave it. So once we have updated our item sales tax group, so after that we will re-update the sales tax group setup. Okay, so these are the 5 configurational part of the sales tax. So once you have configured these 5, then you need to map your sales tax group and item sales tax group. Sales tax group with the master level, and item sales tax group with the items and uh, item product and product master and categories level. Okay, so once you have map, so when you are creating any transaction, like for example at here we have seen one of the vendor transaction purchase order, we just created the purchase order line, and you can see the sales tax is getting calculated 5% automatically based on this combination. Okay, so any doubt on this particular concept?
Sir, how we know the tax percentage? This much to add.
This much to add, see this tax percentage is depends on the country to country. Okay, if you see in India, we I believe we have 14%, 28%, and 5%. Now recently they are launched 32% also for the uh, gambling kind of things. Okay, so in India we have two different rates. I mean, instead of sales tax group and item sales tax group, we have one is HSN code and CGST, SGST code will be there. Okay, so inside that, based on this HSN code and uh, I'm not remembering another code. So based on these two codes, it will be calculated the sales tax. Okay, the same concept if you see in foreign countries, it depends on most of the countries they are using their sales tax as 5%. Okay, in GCC country we have only one rate, that is 5%. Okay, if you see in other country they have the rate based on their country tax law. Okay, they have 15%, 20% as a standard. Okay, so it will be calculated in that way. So this particular rate will be given by the federal tax authority of that particular local organization will be shared those information with the finance team. So according to that, their finance user will inform us to configure in this way. Okay, this is my rate. I need to calculate this much as my tax, sales tax rate. So how you will define that particular percentage? We will define our that particular percentage in the sales tax code. Okay, if you go to the sales tax code, okay, let's imagine I'm giving another creating new one, that is the STR 20. Okay, so standard 20%. Now I have given as standard 20%, right? So let me select my settlement period and ledger posting profile as generic. So if you go to the values, so in this particular values, you will define over here that particular percentage, like for example 20, and I have saved the record. Now once you have saved this particular record, okay, you have defined the sales tax code with 20 percentage. After that, you will create your item sales tax group. Okay, so I'm using this standard only. In this particular standard itself, I'm adding the no, let me add new one, so for easy recovery, STR 20 percentage. Okay, now you can see at here the 20 percentage has been added. Now I will go to the sales tax group, and at here also for local I will map STR 20 percentage. Okay, now you can see at here I have under local I have two different groups. Okay, two different sales tax groups are there. Item sales tax group, one is 5 and 20. Okay, now let's open the same purchase order. Okay, now in this particular purchase order, I'll do one thing. Let me edit it. Okay, now you can see if I click on sales tax, what it happening? It is calculating 5% as my sales tax value. Okay, 5 percentage. You can see at here the percentage is 5. Okay, so how it is calculating 5 percentage? It depends on my you can see under setup, you can see I have sales tax group is STR and my sales tax group is local. Okay, so if I change this STR to STR 20, okay, now if I click on sales tax, now you can see it is calculating 20% of my sales tax group. Okay, so how this percentage has been calculating? So what we have done, we have two different item sales tax group, but we have tagged that particular sales tax group with the our sales tax group. Okay, that, so in these two combination basis, it will check, it will pick the rate. If, like for example, In local, we have STR20 has standard rate. Okay, and similarly, if you go to the STR20 item sales tax group, we have STR 25%, 20 percentage. So if this particular in both the case it is matching, then this particular percentage base it will calculate your rate. Okay, Sri Lakshmi.
Yes, sir.
So you will define in interview, they may ask you what are the steps to configure the sales tax group. I mean, sorry, uh, to calculate sales tax. So you should be able to answer. First, we will create the ledger posting group. Second, we will define the settlement period. Third, we will define the sales tax code. Next, we have sales tax group. Then we will create the item sales tax group. Okay. So in the settlement period, we have to define the authority. Okay, you can see there is a authority. This authority is nothing but at here it will be a vendor. Okay, this authority is nothing but your federal authority will be there, right? Like tax authority, like India we have the GST council. Okay, so GST council is nothing but they will collect both state and central tax. Okay, so you have to map that particular authority over here in the settlement period. Okay, so at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter, we will make payment to the GST council. So this is my quarterly GST payment which I have purchased or which I have made the sale. So based on that, I am making my payment. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you have understand this one concept, so we have different rates in if you see in global, we have standard rate, we have exempt in the case like there are certain uh, medical insurance which is in exempt state, means there will be no tax, it will be a zero rated. Okay, so we have another rate called zero, like for example if you have any education government education schemes, then it will be zero rated. Okay, so like how we will define, so we will create the sales tax code and we will create the item sales tax code and we will map according to the respective uh, sales tax group, and we will map this item sales tax group with the item and item master and category level, sales tax group at the master level, that is customer, vendor, bank, etc. fixes it at level. Okay, so based on that it will be calculated. Now we have defined my sales tax group and item sales tax group. So based on that, this purchase order process we need to complete it. So first let me confirm the purchase order. Okay. Now purchase order has been confirmed. So let me receive it. Now let me do the my invoice part. So at here, if you see under the voucher of this particular financial transaction of invoice, okay. So at here you can see a new line will be added. That is the uh, tax line will be added over here. Let me show you that. You can see there are a lot number of transactions which is not posted yet. We have seen yesterday there are some invoices which is showing under the customer master level, but ledger level it is not reflecting. Okay, now you can see these are the some of the free text invoices related to that particular customer, which is not transferred to the ledger, but customer master level has been updated. So these are the transactions which is pending in the ledger level, which is not moved. So now we are moving by running the batch job. Okay, so let me move our vendor transaction manually. Okay, everything has been moved. Now you can see over here we have a sales tax. One of the column has been added, that is 17,099. Okay, previous it is not there. Now we have added another line which is getting debited with the respective sales tax group. Okay. So after adding the sales tax group, so what will happen? Your final entry of the vendor over here is like for example, your product respective product will be debited with 85,970. Okay, and you will have tax. So we have given 20% tax. So what will happen on this particular amount? It will calculate 20%. Okay, and we will have the vendor balance. So vendor will have balance of this particular amount with this, that is 103164. So this is the final entry which will be booked in the account during the invoice. So we have two more transactions which will be reversed during the product receipt. We have the accrual. Okay, your purchase accrual will be debited, and your purchase expenditure and invoice will be credited. Okay, so this is the final invoice voucher will be generated. Okay, I have already shared this voucher information, so in that the tax column which is newly added over here, rest all the things are the same. Okay, now similarly if you see the sales tax for the customer the same way. So we will go to the accounts receivable. Okay, under account receivable we have the customer master. So for customer also we need to map the same kind of thing. Okay, so let me add the existing customer. Let me take any existing customer. Let's take Oak Company. Okay, for this customer I will go to the sales order default. Okay, sorry, at here also I will go to the invoice and delivery. So under invoice and delivery also we have sales tax group. So currently it is mapped as note sales tax. So what I will do, I will select over here under this particular no sales, instead of no sales tax code I will select as local. Okay, now if I create any transaction, okay, like for example if I go to the if I create any free text invoice, okay, I will go to the free text invoice and I will create new, and I will select the customer as Oak Company, and you can see by default my sales tax group will be added once I have selected the main account. Like for example here I am selecting the revenue from labor, and you can see this item sales tax group is coming from my main account. Okay, so at here if you see in these two combination there will be a no sales tax will be calculated. Like for example I am giving as amount as 462 4 oh, 4652. Okay, so I have given as 4652. Now if I click on the total, or if I click on sales tax, you can see there will be a no sales tax will be calculated. The reason behind this is, if you see in AUVI, at here the rate is given as this many rates, and none of this particular sales tax code is matching with my local. Okay, so none of them is matching, so because of that it is not calculating. Okay, so at here what I will do, I will change the sales tax item sales tax group to the STR. Now you can see it will calculate 5% rate on this particular amount. You can see we have 532.6, that is the sales tax code 5 percentage. So based on this particular amount it's giving this particular amount. Okay, after that what I will do, I can post the transaction by click on OK, and the transaction will be posted. Okay, now if I go to the vouchers, invoice journal, voucher, now you can see at here we have a three different main accounts. One is the your revenue account, which starting with 4 series 4110 is your revenue account. Okay, 130100 is your customer account. Okay, 20210 is your sales tax account. Okay, so at here what happening, your customer is getting debited with the respective amount, and your revenue is getting credited and your sales tax is getting credited. Okay, so this is the final transaction. And similar way, if you do the sales order invoice, in sales order invoice also it will be the same process. At there also the end result will be the same. Okay, any doubt in this particular sales tax concept? Okay. So if there is no doubt, then we will proceed further. Okay. So this is the sales tax, how we will create the sales tax and how the sales tax will be calculated during the transaction that we have seen so far. So that,
Sir,
hmm, yeah.
so if we add the sales tax, then the sales tax amount is directly credited to the tax authority, sir.
No, no, no. It will not create it to the tax authority. Okay. So we have defined the couple of the ledger account. Okay. Like for example, we have defined the temporary account. Okay. Like for example, if I go to the ledger posting setup of this particular sales tax, you can see we have used for sales tax payable and use sales tax. We have the settlement account. So once what happened, you may have during your vendor transaction level, at the time what will happen, your sales tax will be debited. Okay, it means that it is your expenditure, and when you are receiving the revenue, it is the sales tax which is credited. Okay, it means that you have earned the revenue based on that the sales tax is there. So in these two combination, if you combine, you will see the end result. The difference, whatever it is there, it will be settled and it need to be paid to the respective authority. Okay, that authority payment still we have not done. Still, what we are doing, we are storing those information in our one of the temporary ledger account. Okay, of the sales tax, to know how much is payable to the respective federal authority. Okay, so far what we have done, so far we have created the transaction and we have hold it over here. Okay, now we will see how we can make the federal authority payment, that we will see now. Okay, so before going to the federal authority payment, so we have couple of inquiry form over here. Like for example, under the tax you can see inquiry and reports, you have sales tax inquiry. Okay, you can see posted sales tax. So this particular inquiry form will display how many sales tax transaction has been posted, and you can filter out based on with the sales tax code. Okay, now you can see we have posted with the STR20, so this is the amount which is reflecting over here. Okay, you can see the voucher information, etc. Okay, similarly, if you see the 5%, let's filter with STR. Okay, now you can see we have created two transactions and it is showing over here, right?
Yes.
We have created one vendor transaction and we have one sales tax transaction, which is recoverable means which we can recover from the GST council. Another one is which is payable means we have to pay it. Okay, so based on these two combination, we can now during the settlement the entry will be posted. Okay, so all the posted transactions, sales tax posted transaction will be displayed over in this particular inquiry form. Okay, similarly the payments, etc. Now you can have a different sales tax based on the code, you can generate the report. Okay, you can see the sales tax payment by code. So if you click on the code, and at here it will ask the settlement period. Okay, so at here you will select the settlement period as generic. Okay, so at here you will select the date, I mean from date, like for example if your from date is 1st Jan. Okay, and it will show you destination on screen, and if you click on OK, so it will, what will happen, so it will generate a report based on the sales tax code, how much is the payment you have paid it. Okay, so currently there is no data, so that was the reason it is giving no data is available. Okay, so if you make the payment, then it will display. Okay, similarly you have sales tax transaction in details. So this report will show you the complete transaction details, including the reversals, So you have to provide from and to date and it will display. Like for example, I'm giving the transaction date as 01/2025 up to today and including reversal. If I run this particular report, and it will show you how many transactions I have posted during this particular period and what is my sales tax amount. So each and every information will be populated. Okay, now you can see we have two transactions which is available from 1st January to today, and it's showing those two transactions. One is the customer transaction and another one is the vendor transaction. Okay, similarly if I run for prior periods, then it will show the prior period. Okay, so similarly we have by sales tax by customer. So this particular report will show based on the customer wise what is my sales tax amount. So those information it will be shown over by sales tax by customer. I have just run this particular report so that once it is deleted you can see it. Okay, so this is the report based on the customer sales tax by customer. So this report will show based on customer how much sales tax amount is there, so you can see in detail with different sales tax code. Okay, so similarly we have sales tax by vendor. Okay, so these are the major sales tax inquiry form which we will utilize. Okay, so other than that, if we want to make the payments, so we have to make the payments to the federal authority, right? So for that what we will do, okay, so 1 minute. Okay, so for that what we will do, okay, we will go to the declaration. Under declaration we have settlement and post the sales tax. We'll click on this one. Okay, so at here you will select the sales tax settlement period, like for example that is generic, and you will give the from date. Like for example the from date is for example 1st Jan, so by default that end date will be taken over here, and you will click on print report. And if you click on OK, so what will happen, the sales tax settlement and post transaction will be created. Now you can see when I'm running this particular transaction, so it's giving me an error stating the process cannot be completed, please check the info log details. Now if I click on this one, okay, so at here it's giving has the voucher is already used. Okay, so which voucher is already used, that we need to set up this particular issue. For that I'll go to the general ledger parameter. Okay, so at here we have number sequence. uh, so let's see this particular combination voucher 400. there is nothing is there. So let's regenerate. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me change the number sequence to new number sequence. Okay, view details. So at here what I have done, I will explain you. So we are receiving the error message stating for this particular voucher, the voucher is already used. So what we have done is, usually we will go to this particular status list, and from here we will clear that particular record by deleting it, and after deletion that one, and we will save it and we will run, our issue will be resolved. So at here it is not showing under status list, but because it's somewhere it is storing the particular voucher. So what we have done, we have given the we have skipped couple of the voucher number, and I have updated the new voucher number and I have saved it. Okay, now let's generate this particular report. So once I have given the from date, you can see the transaction date by default it has been updated. So I will click on OK. Including details. Now you can see the report will be generated, and my sales tax ledger period also will be posted automatically. Now you can see over here, so this is the sales tax amount which is paid to the respective vendor, sorry, to the respective federal authority. Okay, and this information is already, you can see the populated from which period it is not posted. You can track each and every information. So that is the report. And if you want to generate for the next settlement period, if you want to make the settlement and if you want to make the payment, you will directly go to the settlement for the post settlement and post the sales tax. So this is the form where you will pay to the federal authority directly from here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So once this settlement is done, then it means that you have made the payment successfully to the federal authority. So this is the core conceptual of the sales tax, and based on this your sales tax will be calculated. So if you have any doubt in this particular sales tax concept, okay.
No, of course.
Okay. So So far in finance, what we have covered, so far we have covered the general ledger module, we have seen the AP, AR, and we have seen the tax module. Okay, so other than that, we have budgeting, cash and bank, fixed asset module is left under the finance module. Okay, so what we will do, we will stop over here. I request you to practice more, as Gautam is also planning for the uh, interviewer questions, and he has already shared couple of interview questions, and he will plan for the mock interview. So prepare well for this one. So it is important, as we have a lot of openings for the 2 years 3 years experience. So in you will be fitted over there. Okay, uh, you will get very good pay, and you can easily, if you do practice more, then you will get easily crack the interview. Okay, so that is the first thing, and I request you to practice more uh, on that. So that was the reason I'm not taking prolonging the session, as I want to explain you clearly, and I will stop over there so that you can practice on that particular day event what happened. Okay, so I will stop over here for this particular module, that is tax, so that you can practice from your end, and if you have any doubt you can raise it. Okay, and tomorrow there will be no session, as we are continuously taking from Monday to Saturday, each 1 hour, that is enough, and even if it is 1 hour, we will cover all the topics without skipping anything. Okay, so I request you to practice well and prepare well for the interview. Okay, so there are around 3 more modules. Hardly it will take next 2 to 3 weeks. We can close that one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gautam.
Okay then. So tomorrow there will be no class. It's Sunday, so I leave it to you to be free. Okay, enjoy your holiday, and even practice more and prepare for the interview, for the mock interviews.
Okay, Gautam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.